Hello, race fans. Welcome back here to Freaky Fast Broadcasting, where tonight we have the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here from the Evolution Racing Leagues. And man, I can tell you what, we got a Michigan racetrack here tonight in the Irish Spring Hills. This should be very, very fun here. And always remember, Evolution Racing Leagues is brought to you by Or Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. And tonight, I am Zach Hall up in the booth. Alongside me, as always, my partner in crime is Mr. Brandon Colley. And we'll have Robert Moyer also up here running the cameras and giving us them nice details to keep us in line, because couldn't do it without our boss man, that's for sure. But Brandon, we should have a special night here tonight in the trucks. It should be pretty close. Nice pack racing here. It should be pretty aggressive overall, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Aggression is going to be key here, especially on the restarts with fresh tires. You got to get all the track position you can, and I would not bet that we would see four wide racing going into one. Definitely 3 wide, and a lot of slide jobs tonight. So it's going to be really intense racing, and hopefully these guys can keep it clean while also being aggressive.
Yeah, keeping it clean will be the key for sure. If you get any type of damage on these race trucks, that's going to equal drag, and you're going to definitely suffer the straight line speed. I think that's going to be the big topic all night, is keeping that straight line speed in the truck, because this track, the corners are important. Definitely getting through the corners is very important in these trucks, but going down the straightaways, I'd say, is the most important thing.
Yeah, you really want to be able to maximize your exit speed to carry you down these long straightaways, and any kind of nose damage especially is going to slow that straight line speed. In the draft, you may be able to keep up pretty well, but any chance that you have of really getting out front and staying there is going to be gone.
As we have about 2 minutes left here in the qualifying session here at the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series, see who can bring home the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here tonight. And looks like Cody McCauley right now sitting on top of the board. It's a pretty common theme we've seen throughout these races, Brandon. I think this would be 5 in a row for Mr. McCauley now.
Yeah, no surprise. I don't know what type of record he's trying to set, but he's on track to set something. Very uncommon to see somebody with that many poles in a row, let alone in a season, but in a row. It's a great qualifying effort every week for that 62 truck for sure.
He must have something figured out here, as we'll have to see if anybody can knock him off that top step here and get that Sheffield Graphics Pole Winner Award. Right now we got David Edwards and Richard Gonzalez yet to qualify, so see if those guys can crack up there towards the top of the board, as we are nearing 1 minute left here in qualifying. Qualifying here, I wouldn't say it's the most important thing. I don't think you may be able to get away as the run nears the end of it, but I don't think you're going to be able to get away from really anybody before 10, 15, 20 laps of a run.
I don't think so either. I think to really step away from the pack, they're going to have a huge tire advantage. Otherwise, the draft is just going to pull everybody along right behind you. There is a little bit of off-throttle time, but it's pretty much negated just by the long straightaways and how well these trucks seem to draft with each other.
And there we see, looks like Matt Upbrook there rolling after his qualifying lap. He was able to put himself in the 8th position there in that 16 truck with 30 seconds left. Still 2 trucks yet to qualify, and I believe both those trucks are not on track, so it does not look like our qualifying times are going to change. And I believe this will be the official end here with 15 seconds left. So looks like McCauley will be again your Sheffield Graphics Pole winner. So congrats to him again on getting another amazing pole here, to see if he can pull off another victory here, because man, he's been pretty darn dominant. We don't have Dylan Reed, who won I believe the first 2 races, so that'll be interesting to see when does he get back into the series. But that's it. Yeah, their qualifying is over. Cody McCauley is your pole setter, as we're going to head to our starting grid here, and then we'll get a chat in with Cody McCauley, or Mr. Brandon Colley is. There is your starting grid. Cody McCauley there starting on the pole with that Sheffield Graphics Pole Winner Award. Second, we'll go to GT Azari. Third, there is Curtis Preston. Fourth, Chad Biesinger. Fifth, Brendan Biesinger. Sixth is Craig A. Burns. Seventh is Robert Nestor. Eighth, Matt Upbrook. Ninth, John Oliette. 10th is Alex Rudolph. 11th, Dale Lee. 12th is Kel Simon. 13th is Michael Sheffield. 14th, Richard Gonzalez. And rounding out your field in the 15th position is David Edwards here. As we got 15 trucks here tonight at the Michigan International Speedway for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. And we're about to get it all kicked off here, as now we'll head down here to the booth, find Mr. Cody McCauley here to get him a chat with Mr. Brandon here, and see what his thoughts are on his pole here tonight again. And here's Cody McCauley.
Hey, Cody, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got your ears on, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I hope you've got one heck of a trophy case for all these pole awards you're taking home, man. I believe that's 6 in a row now, so you definitely know how to hot lap these things. But it seems like, I almost think the way this race is going to play out is more akin to, a plate race where the draft is going to be huge and start position not going to matter too much. But, how are you feeling with how the draft works here, and, how beneficial do you think that pole starting position is going to be?
I don't think it's going to help us much, man. The hard part is we don't really have any teammates up here with us, so we're going to end up going to the back pretty quick. Going to try a little different strategy tonight, see if we can't be there towards the end. I think a lot of luck's going to be involved, but look forward to a really good night, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Should be a blast. A lot of drafting, side-by-side racing, so should be a pretty good show.
Well, safe to say that it probably is. You guys always seem to give us a good show to broadcast here, and hopefully you can keep the fenders clean, keep some speed in that 62, and we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
Sounds good, man.
All right, good luck.
All right, that was Cody McCauley there, your Sheffield Graphics pole winner. And I can confirm 5 poles in a row, as this is our 5th race of the season here. After last week, Pocono, our winner was Travis Everett, who Travis here, not tonight, so not going to be able to back up that win there. But we'll have to see how it all shakes out and see if Cody McCauley can get his maybe his 2nd win of the season, as he's got the 5 poles now and 1 win. So it's definitely interesting right now. GT Irizarry is our points leader, and he's got about a 33-point lead over Cody McCauley, with John Oliette there in 2nd in the 81, second in points, 27 points back.
Yeah, Cody McCauley, those 5 poles and the 1 win. Pretty good stats to have to start out a season. The only blemish would be the early spin at Charlotte for race number 2. So great season so far for him.
Definitely so. Has been a great season overall. But I tell you what, Brandon, we're about to get things kicked off as the pace truck here is going to pull down to pit road, and we shall see the initial green flag of the night. And we are green flag racing here at the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series at Michigan International Speedway, as these guys head down towards turn 1 with Cody McCauley leading the field down there, getting pushed by the 29 of Curtis Presley.
Well, you mentioned the 29. He's got his teammates right behind him of GT Irizarry, and that was something that Cody McCauley talked about. He didn't really have any teammates up here to work with him, and we know these two work together very, very well. And right behind them, you have Brendan and Chad Biesinger. Obviously, they're going to be working together, and I want to point out that Chad Biesinger was actually fastest in practice, so let's see if that translates to the race.
Very good point there. See if Chad Biesinger at 23 can, Brendan Biesinger in the 68. They're fastest in practice, so see if he can make up some ground here, as he is starting right now already up to the 4th position in that 68 from that 5th starting spot. See if he can make up some spots, because you see the difference. We've seen the difference in qualifying times. Almost 0.8 slower in a pack from what we've seen in practice. So the speeds pick up very big, and you can see this big wad of trucks in the very back here with Matt Upbrook, Craig A. Burns, all these guys back here in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th positions, battling hard side by side as they go through 3rd and 4th.
And the front pretty single file, I believe, all the way about to the 10th position. They may not be too aggressive super early on here. Just try to make sure they don't get any type of damage early in the race. Save it for later. Just try to size out, how the truck's handling, and when they feel like they can make those moves. Just gauging those runs that they're getting on the guys in front of them, as we've got some guys now looking to the inside here to maybe make something happen.
Yeah, trying to make something happen here early in this race in Michigan. This point right here, you could sit back, save you some fuel, think about how your strategy is going to play out as these guys head down through 3 and 4. And, it's going to be interesting because once you get that older tires, it's so tough to pass on the bottom that the outside lane becomes really preferred, especially with a lot of guys running up high, and then you get the draft down the straightaway.
Yeah, it's so dominant on the high side. The extreme low line here, it's a little bit less banking, so harder to roll that and really keep the truck down there to really make your speed through the bottom of the corner. And if you get shuffled out of line trying to make a pass with everybody in a single file line like this, you have no draft help and you just fall to the back extremely quickly.
You need help here at the Michigan International Speedway, especially with the way these trucks are, man. They put such a big hole in the air, which that creates the draft. It's almost like when you're on the interstate, behind a 18-wheeler, you're breaking that air in front of you. And it's Chad Singer slides up the racetrack. That looks like Rudolph there. I think of the 42 going to go around the outside, I believe. Yeah, it was the 42. There with John Oliez. Chad Biesinger slides back a few positions there too, I believe, the 8th position.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a check up there. He may not have been expecting. Great job avoiding any contact there, and great job for Matt Upright in that 16 to keep it off the fence, trying to get out of everybody's way and make sure he didn't run into anybody. But that happens pretty quick here. Sometimes, running that bottom line, especially in turn 1, the truck can step out quite a bit. You'll have to do a lot to save it. And, everybody here, you're running almost the same speed, especially early in the run, pretty hard on the throttle. Somebody having to check up like that can cause a big issue.
Looks like the battle right now on the racetrack is for the 9th position between the 11 of Robert Nestor, as actually he falls behind Kel Simon there. As Kel makes the pass there up into the 9th position. That outside line just prevailing so far from what I've seen.
Yeah, to make the inside line work, especially how they're all, sat out right now, you've really got to have somebody that's dedicated to pushing you on the bottom. Because if you try to make that move, the guy in front of you is not going to have any draft help from behind, nobody pushing him. But he's getting pulled around by that single file line ahead of him, and it makes it so difficult. You've really got to be patient and wait, and, maybe he has to check up off the corner or has some small mistake that breaks his momentum, and that's when you try to pounce. But you really have to wait for that moment to make an effective pass.
As you see here, a battle now formed between the 16 and Matt Upbrook and Kel. Kel trying to continue his way forward in the 17. So he's trying to take the 8th position, that bottom lane. They're using that. See if he can make it work as we go down to the corners. Actually, we got a battle for the lead now. Curtis Preston looking to the inside. Or leader Cody McCauley there, as you see, he makes the pass on that 62. So 29 and Curtis Preston here taking the lead. Mirror the battle they had at Pocono. These guys battled it very hard at Pocono.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 62 of Cody McCauley had a really good chance to, cross over the 29 of Curtis Preston. You can make that slider work, sending it in really hard on the bottom, but you're going to lose a lot of momentum once you move back up to the high side and open up the bottom. But you've got to have a lot of confidence that you've got enough speed to clear the truck ahead of you that you're trying to cross over. And I think Cody's also trying to think about the fact that directly behind him is the teammate of Curtis Preston, and preventing these guys from getting hooked up and potentially bump trapped in each other around here to break away from the rest of the field.
As you can see, really right now, the top 7 here, Brandon, they're kind of starting to break away a little bit here from Kel in that 8th position, as he was able to make the pass and get up into the 8th position for that 17. But you can see the top 7 all directly in one line, just kind of drafting together. And that's kind of what you see here at Michigan. It's going to be pretty similar throughout the whole entire run. It'll be interesting to see if they can spread out more as the tires start to wear more and more. But I tell you what, the draft here is just so strong.
If Kale's lucky at this point, he's just got the tail end of that draft. He can still keep with these guys. But if you lose that draft to the lead pack, you're going to be in for a long race and have to hope for a yellow or just a really good pit sequence to kind of fall back in line with them, because it's hard to just make up that speed. Have somebody push you around here and be perfect enough that you can just overcome the speed difference between your pack and theirs to be able to catch the tail end of it. But like you said, it's something you see quite a bit here at Michigan. It just seems like some of the guys at the back get to battling and they just lose touch with the lead pack, unfortunately. So I think the top 7 here, they're really wanting to try to single file out. We have a couple battles for position, but if these guys just get single file and just run smooth, consistent laps, they can pull away and kind of limit the amount of positions they could potentially lose by trying to make moves later in the run.
Well, Cody McCauley there, you see it, made the pass on Curtis Preston there for the lead, but now Curtis Preston back to the inside. He makes the pass. Got teammate GT there in the 4 truck as he comes down the track. Looks like he's going to help pull him with that toe there on the bottom. This is what we're talking about, teamwork here. You know, Cody McCauley said he didn't feel like he had his team up there with him at the moment. Right now, I think the nearest teammate he has is John Oliet there in the 5th position in the 81 truck. So not too far behind now that he's in 3rd. So only 1 truck between him and a teammate. Brendan Beeson was very close to the outside wall, but look at that. You can just see how much the push is happening. The push from the 62 to the 4 as they go down to 3 and 4 to the inside of Curtis Preston there. As you see the 29 now up high.
GT a little bit loose.
A little bit loose. The 62 looked for a run, but had to back out of it. Smart decision there, as these guys are almost going to be 3 wide. It's going to check them up, and the guys behind are going to have to run.
Yeah. Looks like John's opting to work with GT here on that bottom lane. He had a hole down the front stretch there to go 3 wide. Probably safer to just fall back into line here. So maybe he's looking to go 3 wide now. Got a pretty big gap to the top side. See if he takes it.
See if he falls in line up top, trying to get to the outside of that 4. 81 does get to the outside of the 4. The 62 made the big move to the bottom. Great racing, though, here at the Michigan International Speedways. You got Chad Biesinger and Brendan Biesinger also there behind John Oliet there, trying to get a little run. And look, all this racing did, Brandon, there is bring in the rest of the pack. Now we have a 10-car truck breakaway instead of a 7. So it let 3 guys get latched onto this back here and be able to pull themselves up into this battle.
And the longer they do that, the more everyone else in the back of the pack is going to be able to catch them. Sheffield not very far behind. I believe he may just have the draft of the 17 and 16 just ahead of him here. And they're still getting side by side for the lead, and it's just going to slow them down even more. So it should pull the rest of the field right back into contention.
Yes, it really should. It should pull them right back into contention here, as you see Cody McCauley back to the lead now, and now single file for the first 8 trucks is now Alex Rudolph there, ducks out in the 42.
Well, Zach, looking back through the field, something we touched on at the top of the broadcast is keeping the truck clean. Looks like the only truck so far with damage is the very last truck in the field of the 2 of Craig Burns. He's got a little bit of right front damage there. It looks like it's really hampering his speed.
Any damage you suffer at this racetrack will be mile per hour on the straightaway. It's never a track where you want damage, man. You got to have clean aerodynamics to get around this place quickly, and a little damage will help. As look at that now, Curtis Preston going look back to the inside. These guys look like they're having fun out there. This is really cool to see.
And it seems like to me that the easiest positions to really change hands just seem to be first and second. There's a lot of crossing over and just slide jobs from first to second, rolling the high line, or just dive bombing the inside there, just getting clear and going back up. Everybody else just kind of has to watch this happen, and maybe for some reason these guys check out and you shoot it 3 wide, try to make something happen where you can put yourself in that position.
Side by side here, the front 2 rows. Curtis Preston, Cody McCauley, John Elliott, GT here. Sorry, yeah, the teammates split on each other right now. As right now it's just early in this race, 17 laps in. Pit stops, Brandon, I believe should happen around 40, so this should be a 1-stop race.
If my memory serves correct, I believe it's somewhere around 40. There's a little contact between the 81 and the 4. Not major though.
Yeah, 81 got up the racetrack a little bit there.
And that's something I think we'll see as the run goes on here. It gets really hard to run the bottom there underneath somebody. The truck gets really, really tight. And just, diving into the corner the way that you do, it's really easy to heat up that right front. And that's really where the outside line comes into its advantage.
Ooh, it's Curtis Preston and Cody McCauley still racing hard here. But look at this. It's all side by side for really the first 9 positions.
And back to 10th place, Matt Upbrook. He got into the wall a couple of laps ago as we were talking about Craig Burns and his damage. It's not nearly as severe as Craig Burns' right front is, but you can see how far back he's fallen off this pack just because of that.
Man, oh man. What a race we've had so far. Really, the
Oh no!
as Chad Biesinger goes around. That's going to be a big wreck, guys, as that's going to be our first caution brought to you by Orin Nissan Central. And we'll have to go back here on the Freaky Fast replay and check out what exactly happened to bring out our first caution of the evening here on lap 19 at Michigan. Here's they're going down towards turn 1. There's a 23 Chad Biesinger. Oh, some netco between the 81 to 23. And there's the 11 Robert Nestor. Oh, nowhere to go for the 11. There's the 42. The 81 gets spun around. Multiple trucks. There's a 16 Matt Upbrook who barely just skates by. Look at Michael Sheffield getting by. Oh, there's a couple trucks going by on the high side. Woo, man, some close calls here. As it looks like, I believe that might be the number. Who is that? The 6? Yeah, Richard Gonzalez there, who might have got the worst end of that there. Or sorry, that was the 45, I believe, of Dale Lee, who got the worst end of that there.
Yeah, saw it live, and it looked like maybe the 11 misjudged the entry to the corner. A little bit of contact with the 81, but the biggest loser here was the 23. It looked like just that big net code hit really sent the truck around. So unfortunate for those guys. You know, like we talked about, any kind of damage will slow you down, but this is a lot of damage for a lot of trucks, and they're going to have to spend a lot of time on pit road to get it fixed.
Man, oh man, heading on to pit road here. First caution of the evening. No fast repairs, remember, here at the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series and Evolution Racing Leagues. It's straight up, man. You get damage like that, your day is hurt here at the Michigan International Speedway. As now these guys bring it down to pit road. We do have 3 sets of tires, so 2 sets in the pit here. These guys are opting, I believe, to take their first set, or they're just going to take fuel. We'll have to see. First set going on for Curtis Preston. GT also. See the 62 elects to take tires. I believe the 62 of Cody McCauley pit is fuel only.
I think that may be the smart decision. You know, obviously it depends a lot on how the rest of the race plays out, but they still have to make a green flag pit stop, or at least one more pit stop to the end of this race. They can't quite make it all the way. So save that set for when you need to later in the run, because the rest of these guys, if it goes green, they're going to take that set, not have any left, and should we get another caution, Cody McCauley and anybody else who decided not to take tires is going to be sitting in a perfect position.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. The only thing I worry is if it does stay green here, that's where you're hurt. You know, because looking at lap times, we took off at a 39.67, and we were running 41 flat there by the end. So it was a 1.5-second fall off. If he's a 1.5 seconds slower, then it's he's going to fall back pretty quickly and lose this draft. And that'll be a big factor. Now, you know, the fall off does happen pretty quickly. It seems like about 10 laps in, you're running about a second slower already. So that next half second happens in the next 10 laps, I guess you could say. So if he could cool these tires down well here, just hang on to maybe the back of the pack, it could work out. We'll just have to see how he hangs on with that 62.
Well, the good news is that, you know, pacing like this, it's going to cool off the tires on that 62, and he's going to be able to keep up for a little bit with these guys on the fresh tires. And he also has the benefit of starting at the front, so everyone that passes him is just another opportunity to pick up some draft and keep up with the rest of these guys. So he's got a lot of options here to not lose the draft. Should he fall to the back, he's got to hope that he can keep from doing that within that 10 laps, so it really evens out and he's got a better chance. But like you said, if he misses the draft and, you know, for some reason falls out of it, it's going to be a real struggle, and he's going to have to hope for a caution.
Yeah, that's always the risk and gamble you take with tire limits, man. You know, you live and die by when you take your tires here. I mean, if if we get a quick caution here, I believe that these other guys will continue to, they won't take tires. But it's just going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out by the end of this thing.
I think if we get a caution within 7 to 10 laps, I would imagine that you'd see Cody McCauley coming in and taking his set of tires. Because even that, like you said, that amount of time, it's a huge difference between fresh and old tires, like about a second. So you can fly through this field like Superman.
We'll have to see here as the pace truck pulls back off. And we are back green flag racing here with Cody McCauley taking off in that 62 machine as we head down towards turn 1. Let's see how his old tires perform here on this 62 as he's been super fast all night. But how fast can he be on the older tires compared to these guys on fresh, brand new tires?
Yeah, you're really going to see that difference going into turn 3 for sure. You can get a pretty good pace through 1 and 2, but you'll see exactly the fall off once we get into turn 3 here.
He's already gotten passed by 2 trucks. Here comes the third of Kell trying to make the pass into 17. Here comes the 15 of David Edwards. So 4 trucks by him in 1 corner, Brandon. That right there is definitely interesting, and they're definitely going to set sail on him here as the 68 of Brendan B. So you're now looking to possibly the outside. They'll probably have to set him up here for an inside pass in this 62.
Well, if Cody McCauley can keep somebody behind him, kind of pushing as well as he's getting towed around by this draft, it can work out pretty well. But it looks like anybody that's trying to push from behind is just going to lose a lot of ground, and they may just decide to bail out and say, "Hey, man, I can't afford to lose these guys' draft right now."
We'll have to see here as the 62 getting passed by Brendan B. Singer as they head down the front straightaway. Here comes Michael Sheffield, John Oliet. Also, I believe Matt Upbrook not too far behind at 16. We'll see if these guys continue to fall back as that front pack definitely starting to get away from them there, Brendan.
Well, I believe that 68 of Brendan Biesinger, he's able to just latch on to their draft at this point. If they would have stayed single file, it would have been a 4-car breakaway. They'd have been in a very good position. But battling like this just kind of opened up the door, punching a bigger hole in the air and allowing them to catch back up. And last time by, I want to point out the 15 of David Edwards set the fastest lap of the race, over a 10th quicker than anybody else.
Definitely so. Here's look at Kell. He's fighting with teammates here. That was the next thing I was going to bring up. We got 3 teammates together. Curtis Preston, David Edwards, and GT. All 3 of those guys slide job racing drivers. And see if they get Sheffield up there as he's only in the 6th position now. So we could get a 1, 2, 3, 4 slide job racing top positions here. Is Cody, yeah, you can see Cody McCauley now. Look at he's that lone truck there behind that pack. He is definitely dropping back here. He ran a 40.5 on them older tires, so, but I think that was really due to the draft here, a 40.33. As you can see, the cooling down phase definitely helps those tires, but I think at some point here, if these guys get too far ahead of him, he just won't have the draft, and he's just going to be slow by being by himself.
Absolutely. It was one thing to be slower outright just on the old tires, but the benefit that these guys are having with the draft is tremendous compared to Cody McCauley right now, who's just out here on his own. So I'd imagine he's going to be losing anywhere from 0.2 to half a second every single lap that they're running during this run.
Yeah, this time by, we'll have to see what the lap time difference is. 40.73 for Cody McCauley to leader Curtis Preston's 30.95. So 0.8 of a second in 1 lap. Yeah, it's definitely not playing out in the favor of the 62 right now. He's definitely going to need some type of caution probably to happen to help him out for later in this race.
And the biggest thing that's going to help prevent that from happening is the handful of cars that were damaged in that earlier wreck. And then the ones that are still out on track currently are, a bit off the pace behind them, and they're not really racing with anybody else. And I don't imagine any of these guys at the front are really going to jeopardize their position and make a risky move at this point and potentially end up wrecking their trucks. So, like Cody said at the beginning of the broadcast when we interviewed him, a little bit of luck is what he's going to be looking for here, and it looks like that's what he's going to need.
Luck can always help in a racetrack, man. That's for sure. As looking back here at Craig A. Burns, he right now is in the 10th position here with Richard Gonzalez. They're about 7.5 seconds back here. I believe these guys elected not to take tires also last stop, so they are on the slower tires too. So they're definitely suffering from that as the leaders right now run up to a second and a couple tenths faster.
And you talked about Michael Sheffield a couple laps ago. He's just at the tail end of this lead pack here. Just got the draft. Should be reeling him in pretty quickly. About 3 laps or so, I think he'll be right up there with him. And maybe able to get up there and, like you said, get that 1, 2, 3, 4 for Slide Job Racing. That'd be pretty cool to see. Oh, is Cale Seaman in the fence into 3?
Yeah.
That's not going to help him.
17 up into the wall. See what he'll do is I think he lost so much speed that it's going to hurt him if he can't get latched back on pretty quickly.
Well, he'll have the draft of the 16, but the 16's also got quite a bit of nose damage now. The damage on the front of that 17 truck, not super bad. We've seen a lot worse, but he's going to be struggling, I think, just to keep up at this point with how much momentum he's lost. As we see the 16 of Matt Uprick, he's also just struggling to even cling to that draft. He's just looking for a whisper of it at this point.
As right now, the top 4 of Curtis Preston, David Edwards, GT Azari, and Brendan Biesinger have a little sizable gap here, a little bit about a half a second on Michael Sheffield and John Oliette there. The 81 is, the 3 teammates up front, and this couldn't play out better for them personally, because this is what you want for a racing track like this.
It's really easy to defend the line. You know the preferred line, especially when the tires wear in. When you've got 3 teammates that are dedicated to just running nose to tail, you don't. That 4th guy in line has no hope really of making a pass on any of you, especially if you don't give him the space that where you can pull a slider and just squeeze in between you.
Right on board with David Edwards for 15. Started in the 15th position up to 2nd. So all from dead last to almost to the lead. It's been a great race so far for David Edwards as far as gaining position. There's the 42 ahead of them is hurt. 6 laps down here, you're going to see them pass this number 42. They come to the inside of Alex Rudolph. They get by him, going down to 3 and 4. The teammates of Curtis Preston, David Edwards, and GT Sorry. Yeah, we were talking about being hurt for speed, really. The 62 Cody McCauley, our leader and pole setter at one point, now almost over 7 seconds back from our lead, Brandon.
Yeah, a big deficit. I don't know. It's like you said, the gamble that you play with, often take no tires here. It only works under the condition that you get a quick caution or even a caution during the pit cycle. It's like I said, they're going to take tires if they have to pit under green, and you're not really going to have an advantage at that point. You almost need that caution for this strategy to play out, and I don't know what the statistic would be on whether or not that would happen, but it's not looking very good. I'd have to say under 10% chance that he's probably going to get the exact requirements he needs for his strategy.
Yeah, that's going to be rough now, as we're going to be completing lap 35 this time by 40 laps to go here at the International Speedway. It's going to be interesting. There's look now Michael Sheffield starting to break away from the 81. That's going to be 4 Slide Job Racing drivers in the top 5 here, and possibly once if he can get ahead of Brendan Biesinger, that'll be all 4 of them in line together, and that is what you want to see with teams.
Yeah, I was looking at the 81, following the one of Michael Sheffield around, and I thought, he has a little bit of rear end damage from that earlier incident. But the net code really saved him from having the front end damage that would really slow him down. But apparently that split or the spoiler damage is just enough to slow him down a good bit here, as he's kind of struggling to keep up with Sheffield as he's pulled away.
This is definitely interesting stuff happening right here on the racetrack right now with these guys starting to pull away here up front. And now look, the battle up front here is Curtis Preston going back to lead on David Edwards. These guys are just having some fun trading the lead back and forth now.
They might be trying that the jumping strategy there. Just trying to gain a little bit extra speed.
Oh, it definitely can work. You just gotta do it well. You can't, really race each other into the corner. Gotta let that truck that goes to the inside slide up and carry its momentum, and it can very much work. I've seen it happen before, but I tell you, it's definitely an interesting race right now with 5 trucks starting to pull away from the top here, and if something doesn't happen, to bring out a caution, it's going to be tough to beat these guys.
It really will. Lined up like this, especially with Michael Sheffield right there trying to work his way into that 4th position. If they just get in a single file line, they can pull so much speed around this track that I think the 68 of Brendan Biesinger is really just going to be hoping to keep in line with them and use it to his benefit and maybe make something happen later on after the pit cycle. But looking at Cody McCauley now, he's just now going through the center of 3 and 4, where I believe the leaders should be going off into 1. So he's lost a tremendous amount of time.
And look at this, it's 39 laps almost in the books. Michael Sheffield now starting to put the pressure on as we look back at Cody McCauley, who is now almost 9 seconds back, actually over 9 seconds back in this number 62, running 41 flat to our leaders 41.80. So only 2/10 off now, but the problem is he's 9 seconds back.
Yeah, he can make up a little bit of time if he decides to short pit on these guys, but he has to time it to where he's in about a lap before them. Any longer than that, and the benefit that you're going to gain from the older or the newer tires is going to be offset once they make their pit stop, because they're just going to be faster than you when they come out. Again, I think it's just going to come down to that caution. 2/10 a lap isn't a lot, but over the course of a 40-lap run, that really adds up quickly.
Looking back here at Richard Gonzalez in the 11th position, kind of like in no man's land right now. For Richard Gonzalez, about 3 seconds behind Craig Burns, who's also on that same strategy as Cody McCauley, in the 6th, also on the same strategy. So these guys should be, it'll be interesting to see when they pit, because right now the window's open for tires pretty much to make it to the end, and fuel. I think the longer they wait, I think they're trying to catch a caution. That's the thing I think they're trying to do. But personally, with the way the trucks are spread out right now, I don't really see a caution happening.
Yeah, I think if everybody's trying to be patient and wait to catch a caution, nobody's going to cause a caution. So you just got to try to time that pit sequence just right. I'm sure they all realize, hey, if we pit now, we can make it from here. But you don't want to be the guy that's caught out pitting a little bit early, knowing you can make it from here where everybody else is just going to stretch it to the end. Because even on fresh tires, you can maintain a gap from the draft for a little bit. But eventually that draft just overcomes the benefit of the tires, and eventually they'll reel you in and put you a lap down.
See, my question is, when do these guys pit? That's another question. Do they take it to, 25 to go, 20 to go? Because they can't make it to the end. We know that for a fact. It's just, what do they do?
Well, my thinking is, you split it in half if you can, and it gives you the opportunity, maybe not so much for Curtis Preston, the rest of the guys that took tires on that last pit stop. It gives you the opportunity to really push hard with that set of tires and not worry about, falling off too much later in the run. But for somebody like Cody McCauley, it benefits more if he had not lost touch with the lead pack here, because he can push the tires, but he also has the benefit of everybody pushing the tires, and if there's another caution, he can go back in and take his last set. And there's not that many cars on the lead lap. It looks like we've got Cody McCauley and Matt Upbrook pitting.
Yep. I was about to say he had to do something soon. For him, like you said, he's got a whole nother set left after this set right here. So you might as well come down because you do have an ace in your back pocket here now.
If he can come out, I think, right behind the leaders, he'll be able to catch them and then draft with them for a little bit and save his stuff, kind of. And then once they come in, dig really hard. And he should be able to come out right behind them. And only them couple laps on the tires, he'll be able to keep up with them pretty well and not have to struggle too much.
We'll just have to see that gap. Oh, it's him and Matt Upbrook coming off pit road. A little dicey between him and the 16.
Yeah, looking at it now, the gap, I think Cody McCauley is just a little bit too far back. He's going to have to drive pretty hard just to catch up to the lead pack here unless they decide to pit now, in which case him pitting on this lap worked out perfectly. It's exactly what he needed to do. Only a lap or two off sequence with these guys.
Yeah, the interesting thing was he was running pretty much, similar laps to the leaders. His leaders running 40.9. He was running 41 flat there with 22 lap older tires. We'll see if that has an effect. Is now you do have the slide job racing quadro, I guess you could say. Is they're all four up here, and nice little package they have gotten by Brendan B. Singer. But it's a 5-truck breakaway. These guys are the guys that are going to be fighting for it. As John Ollier is about 2.9 seconds behind him, with Kale about 3.6 back. So still a reasonable gap for John and Kale. I mean, even for John and Kale, I would try to actually jump these guys by one lap on pit road to make sure I'm with them, at least in the draft pack.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that even if they jump them, they've got the extra damage that's going to slow them down. So they're probably not going to come away with it with the lead, but they will be with the draft of these guys and able to kind of cling to it and maybe not fall as far back as they have. Because Kale still seems to have a fair amount of speed. They're not too far back, so I believe if they can just fall in line with them, sequence back out right with them, they'll get a lot better shot to maybe steal this win away from the 4 teammates up there that are looking to kind of dominate.
Looks like Sheffield now to the lead in the 1 truck. As maybe these guys are all trading the lead here to get a lap led. That's a team strategy that can be playing out right here. It's like GT trying to go back to the inside to get by him.
GT's like, nah, my points. I need to preserve my point lead here. He's playing a little bit of games with his teammates.
Yeah, it's funny that Cody McCauley brought up before the race about the teammate thing, and now look, the Slide Job Racing guys, they've almost perfected the team game here.
And I almost feel like, having that benefit is somebody to help you push here, it's almost more beneficial than somewhere like Daytona or Talladega, just because of the way that the line kind of moves up the racetrack. And if you don't have somebody on the inside helping you push, it's really hard to make that pass. Whereas, at a place like Daytona or Talladega, you can get help from pretty much anybody. It's just, you have a lot more confidence when it's somebody who's your teammate, and
Right on the front bumper here of Curtis Preston, he looks to the back bumper of teammate GT. Great racing from these guys. I think they hit pit road, Brandon, with 25 to go, because that was about halfway on these tires from where they started. So the 25-25 there, and then I think that's the way they gotta go, because personally, I mean, McCauley right now running 39.88 to the leaders 41.1. That's a pretty big difference.
Well, as we're riding on board here, Cody McCauley has caught them.
Yeah,
he is right with them now. So it will not be long before he has passed these guys. I think when they see Cody go by, I do not believe it'll be very long before they pit. We are coming up to that 25 to go mark, and it's been a handful of laps since Cody was in pit road. So when they come back out, they're going to have about 5 laps older tire or newer tires than Cody, maybe 6 laps, 7 laps, and it's going to matter a ton, especially with them all drafting together like they are.
As you see, Cody McCauley in his 62 starting to slice his way through this lead pack here. Last time by a 39.58. He is putting down the fastest laps of this entire race in that 62, trying to make up the gap to these slide job racing trucks as we have 25 to go, coming to 24 to go. When do these guys elect to come down pit road? I think they need to do it sooner rather than later, personally. I mean, at the same time, though, they know they're a pack of trucks, so if they let Cody McCauley actually pass them through this pit sequence, there'll be a pack of trucks with brand new tires to be able to draft from the right line.
Absolutely, and we just had Kale and John Oliet come down pit road last time by, and they're cycled out a lot better than where Cody McCauley found himself. And I believe at that point that's going to trigger these guys coming down pit road, because now the leaders are all calling out that they're coming in this time by.
This time by with 24 to go, coming to 23 to go. It looks like the top 5 drivers will hit pit road as Brendan Biesinger. Looks like he elects to stay out here. No speeding. Oh, and GT Irizarry makes the big mistake on the pit road. Oh, man. That's a heavy hit to the nose of that truck. And he's going to make that mistake there getting on the pit road, and that's going to hurt his chances here of this race.
Well, that opens up the door for a lot of these other guys. It takes that one more car out of the front pack there. These teammates that just seem to be dominating so far. And I believe with the 68, he called out that he was pitting in. I felt he was just in a bad position to make that entry and opted to go around rather than make that kind of mistake. But unfortunate for GT, that's a really easy thing to do when the tires wear out here.
Easy to do here as Cody McCauley crosses the start-finish line. You see these guys leading pit road. They will be behind this 62 here as he's going through 1 and 2. He will jump them on the pit sequence there. So got to see if Curtis Preston, David Edwards, and Michael Sheffield can run down that number 62 right now as he's running 40.2s. Got to see here, Brandon, is 22 to go. Ooh. When they catch him, does the tires even out? That's my question.
Honestly, I'm thinking the two that are benefiting the best from this are the 17 and the 81 of Cale Seaman and John Oliet, because they've just passed that lead group now, and they only pit a lap beforehand.
They jumped them, and that's what I was saying. When those guys were sitting there behind them, that was pretty crucial. And I think that you can see the damage on the back of the 81. I don't think that's helped him very much with having that spoiler damage. But they are turning some pretty decent lap times here, 39.95 to a leader, well, not leader, but soon to be leader, Cody McCauley of the 62 here, 40.26. So about 3/10 faster than our soon to be leader, Cody McCauley, as Brendan Biesinger now cycles around with Craig A. Burns on pit road, who did just make a mistake. And here with 21 to go, we'll give a shout out here to the sponsors here at the Evolution Racing Leagues. As always, you got to give a shout out to Sheffield Graphics. You know, they specialize in sim racing paint schemes as well as team logos and race posters. They do not charge for their work. All they ask are for donations to the Folds of Honor Foundation. So you can find a link to donate directly to the Folds of Honor charity on the Sheffield Graphics Facebook page. And you can find them at facebook.com/Sheffield Graphics. So go check them out. A great sponsor. Here's a look at the battle between the 17 and Cale Seaman and the 81. John Leah as Curtis Preston goes by now with these guys with 20 to go. Also, the primary sponsor here at the Evolution Racing Leagues, or Nissan Central. Or Nissan Central is your leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. Go check out their website at www.ornissancentral.com. And also give a shout out to our joint sponsor here at Freaky Fast and Evolution Racing Leagues of ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software. So make sure to go check out ButtKicker and their ButtKicker Gamer 2 at ButtKicker.com and feel what you have been missing. As now we'll get to feel what we've been missing, and this is the racing on the racetrack. As look at this, Cale Seaman, he's trying to keep up here with this 29, this 15, as I believe they've broke away from teammate Michael Sheffield now. So they have lost the numbers they had of 4. Now it's down to 2 teammates.
Well, I believe that 2 cars is plenty enough to get around a single car right now. I've been watching the interval here between Cody McCauley and Curtis Preston, and it looks to be falling about a tenth and a half per corner. They're running pretty quick laps compared to Cody McCauley, a little under a second quicker every lap. But that may be due to the fact that Cody realizes they're going to catch him, and he may just be backing off a little bit to save something. I've also noticed that it's getting a little bit dicey up here at the front. These 2 extra guys that are more willing to race than the 4-car breakaway of Slide Job Racing. So there's a lot of potential for a late race incident here that may benefit Cody McCauley.
Very true. A lot of racing going on. It was 17 to go, and yeah, they're closing that gap with almost a second a lap. Just gonna be interesting to see if Cody McCauley can latch or maybe to the 17 to 81. Yeah, this is coming down to the very nick of things here with 17 to go, and if we do get a caution, Cody McCauley is sitting in a great spot, especially with Craig A. Burns and Richard Gonzalez. Says, look at the run they get up this front bumper here to 62. Inside goes Curtis Preston, trying to get this victory here after last week at Pocono. Unfortunate circumstances there. He did not get the victory there trying to pass for the lead. Now he's gone to the lead with teammate David Edwards in tow.
Well, and it looks like Michael Sheffield's slowly creeping up on these guys. He might be able to get a good enough run off of John Oliet and Cale Seaman, and he's also got Brennan Biesinger pushing him here. So these 2 working together very well, and if they time it right, they may be able to leapfrog the 2 in front of them and still keep the draft to that lead pack. So Michael Sheffield by no means out of it just yet. As far as Cody McCauley, I think at this point, any caution we get from here on out, he's just going to be the fastest truck on the racetrack with those new tires. I don't think anybody else is really going to have a set and also have a clean enough truck to make use of them. And, like we said, it's about 8 laps since the leaders came into pit, and that 8 laps we're showing is a big difference.
Definitely is. As right now, Curtis Preston 40.16 last time by. Cody McCauley 40.5. So the Moeller tires only 4 tenths slower is actually John Oliet and Cale go by, and Michael Sheffield closing the gap in on Cody McCauley here, as you can see from the front bumper of Michael Sheffield as he closes in on this field. And Brendan Biesinger also in a pretty good spot with the freshest tires on the track. So pretty interesting here as Michael Sheffield goes to the outside Cody McCauley. Yeah, Cody McCauley right now, if he can just hang on, because literally the difference between their tires is not as big as it was from that first green flag stop, first caution stop, and he was able to run similar times to the leader after that. We'll just have to see if he can hang on once these guys get by. I think it's going to be tough, but the 62 hold on here with 4 to go.
Well, looking at this this battle of this front pack up here, I want to point out that GT, after his mistake on pit road and that nose damage, is falling back to 12.2 back. As Robert is, he's begging us to make notice of the fact that we are within that window where we normally get the caution here at the end. Our freaky fast broadcasting curse, about 15 to go. Zach attack. There we go.
I didn't do nothing. Okay. I look nothing. I believe. Here, look at Michael Sheffield. He can up here and challenge for the win, because look at him going by the 17 to Cale. With the help of Brendan Biesinger, these guys are going forward. And yeah, I think for McCauley, it may be not enough with 12 to go now. He's running a 40.77 to our leaders 40.42. So if he continues to lead that draft, it'll only build from there, as he's hoping he can get to that point where it plateaus, that he can start to reel himself back in. It's just so tough, though.
Yeah, and as we talked about, this strategy was completely dependent on getting that lucky caution that you needed to have the fresher tires at the end of the race when you needed them. And sometimes you just don't get it. Sometimes it's, you may feel like you're not fast enough or on outright speed to challenge, so you had to put yourself in this position. But sometimes you just don't get the caution, and you end up with a set of tires in the pits that you could have used and been in a better position overall to win the race.
11 to go here at the Michigan International Speedway here in the Irish Spring Hills. Oh, man, look at the 68 and the 1 work together. These two right now are personally the quickest on the racetrack. So these guys right here could be the ones setting up for a great finish as they are starting to reel in our leaders here, and it could be a 4-truck battle for this win.
Well, I have to give a slight edge to that 68 truck. He pit a lap later, so he's got slightly fresher tires. It's just a matter of how he's managed it, not being too aggressive into the corner here, saving just a little bit, because he's definitely got the pace. He's been able to push Michael Sheffield back up here to these front two from about 6th, 7th position. So these guys are making a good bit of headway. It's just a matter of, will he be able to maybe find one of these teammates to help him beat the other two teammates?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question here, because I don't think he's going to be able to do it by himself.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry for Brendan is, can you find the help? You got these teammates here, 3 teammates all together. They're going to be working on the same page here. But when it comes down to the end, a lot of times teammates are thrown out the window. You're just going for a win. You might be able to get the better of them. You never know, especially with that 1 lap fresher. I mean, the longer we go, that 1 lap fresher goes out the window. But they'll run them down now with coming to 8 to go this time by. And the 68 and the 1 are going to have a good shot at this thing to see who can come back your race winner here tonight.
Well, they're running about a 10th quicker every lap, but I think a lot of that is just due to how far back they are in that draft that is just pulling them forward. They're gaining a lot more speed than what Curtis Preston and David Edwards are nose to tail right now. And if you can time that right, you can really benefit from it. But I think we've just got too many laps to go that they're going to get there far before that they ideally would want to use that momentum to get around them.
We will have to see here as they are closing still that gap. It's just, the thing is, David Edwards and Curtis Preston have not raced each other. They've been pushing each other right here. David Edwards has been pretty committed to pushing. As soon as they get too wide, that is when the sparks are going to begin to fly. And actually, David Edwards looking to the inside of Curtis Preston here with 7 to go.
Yeah, that is probably their best chance. When they get side by side like that, they can't run as quickly through the center, and there's a lot of speed off the corner. If you can get a good run, take that chance, shoot it 3 wide, and hopefully you've got the biggest cojones, I guess, and don't lift where everybody else might lift. That's really what you're hoping for. Getting Robert in the background just making us all crack up.
Good jokester here. But look at this. I'm telling you what, 6 to go. It's any man's game in the top 4 now. As these look at this, Sheffield and Brendan Breesinger closing the gap even more. Man, what do you do in this situation?
I know that Sheffield is really going to rely on Brendan to try to help him make that move, but I don't think Sheffield's going to help Brendan if Brendan gets around him to really, nobody wants to be the teammate that pushes somebody by your teammate to win. It doesn't go good in the post-race debrief.
That's for sure. As we're coming to 5 to go here at International Speedway, we do have a poll up, and if you're out there watching, let us know who you think's gonna win it all. And we got we got your GT's name in there too, but GT, I don't think he's a good bet right now as he made the mistake on pit road. So we'll see if Beesinger can upset our poll and get himself in the victory lane here. Look at this, here comes Sheffield.
Sheffield got a really good push from the nose of that 68 going into 3. He's not really going to be able to clear him, and he's kind of in a bad spot here. It looks like Brendan might just leave him out to dry and try to pick up a position, but nope, he comes down, give him a little bit of draft. He's indecisive right now. He doesn't know what he should do.
I think you might need to build a friend here. That's what, because if you don't help him now, then they're going to gang up on you. But 4 to go here. Curtis Preston still trying to hang on to this victory. Great racing up front here. David Edwards, Curtis Preston, Brendan Beeson. Look at Brendan Beeson here. He's going to try to get to third now. Michael Sheffield back to the inside. I think Brendan should have the decent run off here, but I think the teammates might pull low here to help. Look, David Edwards pulls low. Curtis Preston up high. Where does Brendan go? Brendan stays up high trying to get that draft from Curtis. Actually, it's a pretty good toe as he's able to stay side by side with Michael Sheffield. And Sheffield goes to the inside of David Edwards. What a race here with 3 to go at the Michigan International Speedway.
Brendan had a chance to shoot it 3 wide. They're still there. Door closed now, but now he's just going to push the 15 on. He's got to keep within sight of Curtis Preston.
Wow, we coming to 2 to go this time. Curtis Preston likes what he sees in his mirror. If he says that they can stay side by side, I got this thing, guys. Oh, is Brendan Beeson a little bit at the wall? Yeah, just a little love tap there with the wall. He actually kept speed pretty well as they stay side by side with the 1 in the 68. 2 to go here. Can Curtis Preston, who wins this?
It was not a very significant touch of the fence, but you just see how much speed he lost with that little wrinkle down the front stretch. Even with the toe, he was just falling backwards, allowing Michael Sheffield to make the pass on the inside. Sheffield, he's got one more chance. He's got to have a great lap here just to get within reach to just try something, throw a Hail Mary and hope it sticks.
Coming here to the Sheffield Graphics white flag. It's in the air. Can Michael Sheffield be your Sheffield Graphics race winner? Let's see if he can bring home his own award here tonight. Here we got the white flag. Oh, my dog.
Yeah. The dogs are excited about the race too. Curtis Preston trying to break that draft of his teammate David Edwards. David's got one shot here. He drives it in. Not quite there. Just gets inside of him here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough of a run to hold off that outside. Going to pull all the way to the bottom, I think, here. It's going to be a drag race across the finish line here. Curtis Preston tries to come down to cover him off. It looks like Curtis Preston just by a nose over David Edwards.
Wow.
Great race by these guys. Slide Job Racing 1, 2, 3.
What an ending right there. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't call it to the end, but man, what an ending. Curtis Preston is your Sheffield Graphics race winner here tonight in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here at Evolution Racing Leagues. Man, what a night it was here at Michigan. Those guys, A-class teamwork there and A-class finish there for Slide Job Racing.
Yeah, it just goes to show that you can still be teammates and race plenty hard. I'm sure if Sheffield was close enough, he'd have made it 3 wide there across the line.
Definitely so, man. The draft just played such a big factor here tonight. Curtis bringing home the victory. Let's see if he brings her down. Burn him down here in this number 29. Look at this. The three teammates. That's an awesome sight. That's this is a track where teamwork is everything. And these guys made it work. And look, there's GT who had the mistake on pit road. He says, I want to get a little bit of TV time here with my friends. And he's going to say, good job, guys. Because they did a well of a job, and he would have been right in the middle of that battle if he wouldn't have made that mistake here in pit road.
Absolutely. Is out on Facebook, we got Travis Everett joining us. Unfortunately, couldn't make the race. Had a late shift tonight, so thanks for joining us. Rooting on his, I guess now would be teammates since the season's over. So we could have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 had things played out right. Pretty cool to see. Always fun to see your teammates doing well.
And you also had Matt Upbrook there in the 9th position too. So he had a good race too. Got caught up in that early wreck. But Slide Job Racing, what a race it was. But we're going to head to a slight break here, ladies and gentlemen, before we get our post-race interview in with our top 3 finishers. All right, we are back here and we got our top 3 finishers ready for the post-race interviews here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting after a great night here in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. So let's get a chat in here with Michael Sheffield as he had a 3rd place run here tonight. A great 1-2-3 here for Slide Job Racing. Hey, Michael, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Michael, what a great run it was for you guys tonight at Slide Job Racing. You guys put on a heck of a dominant performance there with the teamwork and was able to make that really work here tonight, as that's the name of the game here in Michigan with this draft. Did it play out perfectly how you guys expected it, or how was the racing overall out there on the track?
Overall was really good. I mean, the high line definitely had the groove there. I mean, you could make a move at the bottom, but if you didn't clear in the corner, you were in trouble. And even if you cleared, they could pull a crossover just quick. So it was just about getting the right run and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we've seen you in the 68 there, get together after that pit stop and close the gap on David Edwards there and Curtis Preston, able to get up to the back bumper and make a move there with about 6 or 7 to go. Just like you said, the bottom like you said, you had to clear. Do you think there's anything you guys could have done differently? Because it's just the outside line is so tough unless you clear on the bottom down there.
Well, I was actually backing out a little bit earlier in the runs, trying to save a little bit of tire for later, knowing that, I could get to the bottom a little later. And I noticed during the first run, I was getting a good run going into 3 in the middle side, and I was able to drive it off really well. But the second run, I just trying to get back up to the front. I think I burnt too much over my.
Now, if I remember correctly, I believe you won the ARCA race we had at Rockingham, I believe, Michael. And we head there next week in these trucks. How you feel about Rockingham? And hopefully I'm correct about that.
Yeah, it was Rockingham. I mean, I feel pretty good about Rockingham. But to be honest with you, the guy that taught me how really well to run Rockingham won the race tonight. So he's always the one you got to watch out for at Rockingham.
Well, awesome stuff here tonight, Michael. You put on a heck of a show for us, man. Also going from the 13th all the way through the 3rd position, so 10 positions up here tonight. Great climb through the field. And that one truck, great teamwork for Slide Job Racing. Anybody want to send a shout out to you before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys first. Appreciate y'all doing what y'all do. I want to thank the rest of Slide Jobs Racing, me, David, Curtis, Matt, and GT. And unfortunately, GT got a little bit in the wall there going in the pit lane. It happens to all of us sometimes.
It definitely does, Michael. Well, congrats again tonight for the team and yourself here. It was a great performance by you guys, and we will catch you next Monday.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, you too, Michael. All right, that was Michael Sheffield, your 3rd place winner here tonight for Slide Job Racing. Now we'll move on to David Edwards here. Oops, sorry, I actually hit the mute button. So also teammate here, 15. He had a great race here tonight in the 15. Almost last the first. We'll see what his thoughts are on the race. Hey, David, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy.
10-4, I got you, man.
Hey, David, well, man, what a race it was for you. You started in that 15th position, dead last on the field, shotgun on the field, as they would say, and almost got to that first position. So almost went from last to first. Just really tough to pass from what we've seen tonight on that bottom, unless you really cleared the guy on that top lane. How was the race out there for you, David? And do you think there was anything you could have done to get around Curtis there?
All in all, the race was good. The setup was good. It felt fine. It drove fine. Hats off to Sheffield and Curtis for putting the setup together. I didn't have nothing else for Curtis. I mean, we stuck together, drove up there around McCauley, and I did the best I could. I was even slightly leaning on him there coming out of 4, and just that little bit of extra momentum running to the top got that 200th at the line for him.
Yeah, it definitely was. You guys side by side coming down to the line. That was a great finish between you and the 29 there. Great racing overall. Great, working together there to get by, like you said, McCauley. And this draft tonight was just so powerful. Now, next week in these trucks, we head off to Rockingham. And that track completely different than this. David, are we going to see you out there? And what's your thoughts on Rockingham?
I look forward to it. It's going to be a complete 180 from this. Should be fun. Be tight quarters and probably a little hurt feelings at the end of the night, but what do you expect when you get the rock, you know?
That's for sure, man. That's why they call it the Rock. That's for sure. It's a great finish here for you tonight, David. Always from 15th to the second position, one spot short, but I'm sure you'll take that, man. So congrats on that tonight. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd say first and foremost to Michael Sheffield and Ryan Azell for having this league and having the truck series. You guys for broadcasting this on Monday nights. Curtis, Michael, GT, and Matt, all the teammates over at Slide Jobs Racing. My wife for letting me do this on Monday nights, and look forward to next week and see if maybe we can get one spot better next week.
Awesome stuff, David, man. We will catch you next week, and congrats on second here tonight, and you have a great night.
After you, thank you. Thanks again from you guys.
All right, that was David Evers there. You heard it from himself in the 15 truck. What a race it was for him. As I just noticed, he was in the Jack Daniels truck. Now we got the Jim Beam truck, so I like it. You know, and then you got GT with the Bush truck. It's pretty cool little alcohol brothers there, I guess you can say. But we'll go down here to talk to our Sheffield Graphics race winner here tonight of Curtis Preston at 29, getting his first win of the truck series here this season. Hey, Curtis, is Zach up in the booth, man? You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing tonight, Zach?
Oh, I'm doing great up here, Curtis, man. What a race it was for you guys at Slide Job Racing. You guys put on a heck of a clinic here tonight in teamwork. All tonight, you guys were working so great together and was really able to make the strategy come out of here after last week, going so close to winning last week at Pocono. You come back here this weekend at Michigan and you get your first victory of the season. How's that feel, man?
Oh, feels good, man. I think this is my first ever win at Michigan, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever won one here, so that's pretty cool. But gotta chalk this one up to David Edwards, man. When we came off pit road, he was with me there. We hooked up, and he's the reason we got out front when we did.
Yeah, we've seen it all night. Teamwork and just working together with that draft was so important. And it was slightly tough to pass unless you were able to really clear that car on the top lane in the entry to the corner. If you couldn't do it, it was just the outside lane was so dominant. So they're coming to the end, you, David Edwards, they're battling coming off of 4. How confident were you coming off of 4 that you had that thing on the outside lane?
Not very confident at all. I was watching them there the last couple laps, and I knew they could get to run whenever they wanted to. It's just if you're out in the leader, you're out front, you're kind of a sitting duck. They can get to run on you. And I knew it was coming. The right was on the wall, and just barely able to scrape that one out. But it's always a good time, man, when you can race your teammates like that to the checkered flag. It's a blast. It really is a privilege to race with these guys at Slide Jobs Racing because we do work together so well. Great group of guys to race with.
Yeah, you guys definitely worked so well tonight, and that showed here in the results with that 1-2-3 finish there. And man, next week we go off to Rockingham. Now I talked to Michael Sheffield and I asked him about Rockingham, and he won our ARCA race there here at the Evolution Racing Leagues. And I asked him, what is his thoughts going to, and he said I needed to talk to you because he said you were the guy that showed him how to get around there. What's your thoughts about going here in the trucks next week to Rockingham, Curtis?
Oh, feel pretty good about it, man. I love Rockingham. I love those older tracks. Rockingham, I love Darlington, Martinsville. Those old tracks, they're rough. They're hard to get around. I think it puts it more in the driver's hands, man, when you go to tracks like that. So, I mean, here it's all about drafting and somebody to work with you and all that. And I think Rockingham really puts it in the driver's hands. It's a fun place to race.
It definitely is, man. It's one of the toughest places for sure to get around. That's why they call it the Rock, and we're going to have an exciting time there next Monday. But I tell you what, great win here tonight, Curtis. Getting your first win of the season here in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. So that's great to see here as you won the Cup Series and the RSR Series. So that was really cool to see. See if you can take that on because right now I believe entering tonight here you were in the 4th position in points, so you've probably moved up there, probably maybe a position or two. So they're behind GT, your teammate, leading the points. So great points tonight there, and man, congrats on that. But anything anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go tonight, Curtis?
Yeah, thank you guys for being in the booth as always, man. You guys do a great job for us, and we really appreciate what you do. And got to thank Michael Sheffield for putting this on. This Adrenaline Rush League is really cool. I'm a fan of this old school style racing, man, with no stage breaks or nothing like that. It's run what you brung and do what you can do. I'm a big fan of that. So really appreciate him, Sheffield Graphics. They take care of all the paint on the cars for us. Thanks to all the guys at Evolution Racing Leagues, man, and everybody at Slide Jobs tonight. Great job for 1, 2, 3 finish. Good feeling.
Awesome stuff, Curtis, man. Well, congrats on the win here tonight at Michigan International Speedway, and we will catch you next week at Rockingham.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too, Curtis. All right. That was your race winner, Curtis Preston, here tonight in the 29 there. As you see him doing the little donuts there in the grass, having a good time. Great teamwork overall here for Slide Job Racing tonight. But what a race it was as we bring up our race results. Curtis Preston was able to bring home the victory here tonight, followed by David Edwards in that second position. Third will go to Michael Sheffield. Fourth place truck will be Brendan Beesinger in that 68. Fifth will be Kel Simon. Sixth will go to Cody McCauley after 5 in a row poles there, getting that sixth position night. Just not the right strategy, but I tell you what, that truck's always fast. Seventh will go to John Oliet. Eighth there is GT Irizarry after that mistake entering pit road. Ninth goes to Matt Upbrook. 10th is Craig A. Burns. 11th will be Richard Gonzalez. 12th, Alex Rudolph. 13th, Chad Beesinger. 14th, Robert Nestor. And rounding out your 15th position here in our field is Dale Lee in the 45. And that is our race results here tonight from the Evolution Racing Leagues for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. And I can tell you what, guys, that was action-packed and great finish there at the end. Michigan always never disappoints when it comes to finishing with some photo finishes. So what were your thoughts tonight, Brendan?
Really impressed with the way these teammates were able to work together here and kind of pull away and dominate the majority of the race. Some different strategies playing out, guys having to make up a little bit of ground. Unfortunate mistakes on pit road, shaking up what could have been the finishing lineup there, and always an exciting finish when you've got people drag racing to the finish line, but especially when it's teammates, with Curtis Preston just edging out David Edwards by 2/100ths of a second. Great finish. Really excited to pack it up here and head on to Rockingham for next week.
Definitely will be an exciting time at Rockingham next week after we had a great race here at Michigan. I'm excited to see, can we see Cody McCauley go back for 6 straight poles? I think that would be unheard of, but you never know with that guy. He's so quick. So we'll have to see if he can rebound from the strategy call here tonight. But I tell you what, he's got some tough customers out there. As you see that 29, as always, he's a tough one out there to beat in that 29 machine. As he say he enjoys Rockingham, so I'm excited to see how that all shakes out. But now we're going to head it up to our boss man himself, Robert Moyer Jr., to close out tonight's beautiful broadcast.
All right, thank you, Jay, guys, for calling a great race here tonight at Michigan International Speedway with these guys. Man, what a fun race to watch, guys. Knew it was going to come down to the end, and it was a battle. But man, oh man, we are going to be live tomorrow with Sim Racing Unleashed, as we'll be with them at 7:50 tomorrow. So everybody out there on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for the support. Zach and Brandon like to say the same thing. And we're going to sign off here tonight and get ready for tomorrow night at 7:50. But until then, God bless everybody. Love yous all. Peace out.
Everybody have a good night.
Bye.